Okay.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Derek. Okay.
All right. So we are going to go over some diseases, and here is a mini map of how I laid them out. So there is a, you guys, the study room that is in the AB building. So there's a door that goes in right here. There's a desk thing right here. There's another desk right here. There's a potted plant right here. There's a couch right here.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And then,
Wait, there's two desks there?
Yeah, there's a desk here and here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then there's a door here and a door here. And so we're going to be looking this way, coming in.
Oh, that's the couch. Oh, I see it.
This is the couch.
I see it. I see it.
Couch,
The other desk
desk,
I got it.
desk.
The other
plant.
desk is where the extra tea stuff is.
Yeah, the tea.
Is,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then eventually we will go around like this, and then when we arrive at this desk, there's going to be an opening that goes underneath, and then it's like underneath stairs going down, and there's a giant underground swimming pool.
Cool.
That looks like this.
Whoa.
Yeah, it does.
And so the stairs go down, and then you arrive at the pool, and there's a little like rent your thing over here, except you don't have to rent because this is a cool pool that we own, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And so you'd go down the stairs, you'd look over here, and then you'd look at this, this, and this. So we have a disease, one in the study room,
Okay, cool.
and then we have one on the stairs and here. And so disease 1, disease 2, disease 3, 4, 5, and then 6 is in the water.
Whoa. Okay, cool.
Can Derek see the corner up there? Is the camera big enough? You know what I mean?
There you go.
Okay.
Good call, because there's actually a glare right over it.
Oh, okay.
So they're not going to be able to see it.
Okay.
All right. So the diseases are going to be first sarcoidosis. I am so tired today.
Yeah.
All right. And then the second one is going to be pulmonary, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. The third one on this little stone indent, it's kind of like a circle pedestal. Anyway, that one's going to be Good Shepherd. Next is going to be, or Good Pasture. Next is going to be bronchogenic carcinoma. And then up here is going to be malignant mesothelioma. And then in the water next to it is asbestos, which leads to malignant mesothelioma. Because that's like a sequela.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Did we triple check that this is actually recording?
Yeah, it's definitely recording.
Okay.
It's good to make sure, though.
Yeah.
All right. So stand in the doorway into the study room.
Mm-hmm.
You see, just go ahead and see the study room. Make sure that you have a three-dimensional thing in your head rather than just stuff that's on the board. That way you'll be able to store it properly. Boards will get blurry. All right. So this one's actually a little bit of a story. There is a young black lady who is entering the doorway. Okay? And that is because sarcoidosis is most common in young black females. Okay? Looking up at the ceiling, you can see a mobile or like a wind chime type thing hanging down, except instead of having chimes on it, it has little balls. It has granulomas. Granular tissue will grow into a circle kind of looking thing. Granulomas. It's what happens when you have inflammation and the cells proliferate, and then it has all this granular tissue, if you remember from inflammation. So that's a granuloma. And so you have a whole bunch of balls, and those are all representing granulomas. Okay? And that's looking up. So you have the young black lady, and then you have granulomas, which is the issue of this disease. You have those scattered everywhere. Granulomas in the lungs, granulomas elsewhere, and we'll get to details. All right. Now looking to the right, it's just a wall, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And so you have that wall there, and you see a clock embedded in the wall, and it is 2:04 right now. Okay? 2:04. And so you have 2:04. 204. The 2. So these are representing the things that are broken.
Okay.
And we don't know exactly what is triggering these to happen. We don't know what starts sarcoidosis, but we know that something turns on IL-2 receptors. IL-2, man, dang.
Do you want?
there we go.
Yeah.
2 receptors, so that's the 2 right here.
Okay.
And those will stimulate some inflammation type things going on in the lungs in particular. And 04, the 4 represents CD4 T cells, which is also known as T helper cells. And I have a picture of Mr. T, if you know who he is.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. T, Mohawk, whatever. Yeah, that's definitely Mr. T. So, CD4 T cells. And these are activated. And them being activated leads to macrophages. So this is just on the wall. I see the clock, and I see 2:04, and I have Mr. T kind of sitting on the clock. The 2 represents IL-2, the 4 represents CD4 T helper cells. Those guys are turned on. They're going to cause a response. That means macrophages, the symbol for macrophages, it looks like graffiti below the clock.
Yeah.
Is there, and that's because macrophages come, and then macrophages do their thing, which means they make inflammation.
Yeah.
That's fire. That's blue.
Okay.
Because I have a blue marker. It's red in your head.
Okay.
All right. And so that inflammation will lead to granulomas. Okay? So this is kind of the pathogenesis of the disease.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on from there, we're going to go ahead and now that we've gotten granulomas and stuff, we're going to dive and look a little bit more at what those granulomas are actually made of. I mean, they're made of granulation tissue, but what's more details, because that's actually a diagnostic thing. Now, looking into the corner of the room, so we're looking at like this location right here. So we started here, clock is here, we're looking right here.
Okay.
Right there,
There's a trash can.
yeah, there is, but actually a giant has punched a hole through that corner, and so it's like you can see the sky. And so there is a giant hand, and one moment, this is my wife.
Okay.
Hello.
Should I pause?
What's up?
I don't know how. Hi, Derek. Just bear with us.
Oh, okay. Yes, you are correct. Thanks for double checking.
No, because
I know.
Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. Have a good evening. Okay. If you insist, I will have all the funds. Love you, dear. Bye. Okay.
Okay.
So.
We are back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
Okay.
Hi,
so
Derek.
in the best thing is I was gonna anyway. So in the corner, a giant has punched through that corner.
Okay.
And he's opened his hand. So giant. So go ahead and see the hand and see the sky, and you don't necessarily need to see the giant. He's kind of bent around where you can't see him. It's just his hand. Makes it simple. Whatever makes sense to you. And his hand is open, palm up. And so giant cells. In his hand there is a hard-boiled egg, a big hard-boiled egg that is cut in half. And on the inside it's yellow,
Right.
not black.
Okay.
So that means they are non-necrotic, because if it was black on the inside, it'd be necrotic, but it's
Yeah.
yellow, so it's all happy. Granulomas don't have necrotic tissue inside with sarcoidosis.
Okay.
Non-necrotic granulomas.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so that's the egg. Then standing on the wrist is a shaman. Do you guys know what a shaman is? He's like a tribal magic
religious
user.
person.
Yeah, tribal religious person, tribal magic user, depends on whatever.
Like a wizard.
Yeah, kind of. And so if you can imagine someone who looks sort of mystical and he's standing on the giant's wrist and he's the one who's been like, punch a hole through this wall. Anyway,
He
he is Goman bodies. I can't remember.
Yeah. Shaman bodies. Yeah.
Shaman bodies, yeah. So shaman bodies, these are shamans. So you have giant cells, you have non-necrotizing, and you have Skolman bodies. And this shaman, he's made the giant do one thing, to punch through, and then he also is making so that, you know how you can see the sky outside? There's an asteroid coming down that the shaman is also
Oh, wow.
dealing with. And so asteroid bodies are also in the granulomas. So
Whoa, these
three
pictures are
things-
so good.
These three things are the granuloma constituents.
Okay.
So you cut open the granuloma and it's like, oh, you have sarcoidosis because you have shaman bodies, you have asteroid cells, and they're non-necrotized in the middle.
And they're giants.
And they're giant cells.
Do you have
yes.
something for non-caseating?
Oh, back on the mobile, thank you for asking. Thank you for having
Mobile?
notes up. On the,
Yeah.
mobile is something that you dangle over a baby. Another thing is wind chime.
The chime thing?
Yeah,
Okay,
the wind
yeah.
chime. There was no cheese on those. And now
So there's no cheese.
There's no cheese, so it's
Okay.
non-caseating. I almost never make a non-existent picture as my memory because that's really, there's no cheese. But in this case, it's like, I totally would have put cheese there. I know I would have put cheese there. So there's no
Yeah.
cheese on those floating balls.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, because I didn't say it. Although if I went through,
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
No cheese on floating balls. Continue.
I was going to put this on YouTube, but now I don't know. All right. So, all right, moving forward. So, do we want to do real-time reviews, or do you just want to do reviews on your own time? Because if you want this time to be you come out of it with a memory, then you'll need to review.
We can use the video to review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then we will leave it to video. In that case, you guys should pause and review now.
Yeah. Bye, Derek.
All right, moving forward.
Okay, hi, Derek. You're back. You paused it, right? Okay.
If you didn't,
Shame.
Also,
Shame.
future Maria.
Oh, yeah. Oh, future Ava. Future Ava,
Oh
if
my
you hear
gosh.
me, you should really pause it right now, okay? Okay, bye.
all right. So in that time, we could have actually reviewed. Now moving forward. All right. So now you're going to be looking to the left. You're going to see down like the side of the couch.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
you see the side of the
Yeah.
couch. You've looked to the left now, and down there is a tall bucket. Okay. So it's a tall bucket, and there's a bunch of organs in the bucket. Okay.
On the couch?
No, it's
No.
beside the couch.
Oh, it's next to
It's
the couch.
beside the
Okay.
couch. Definitely not on the couch.
Oh.
So the bucket of organs, there are letters on the side, and it's just L, 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 S. So L's is just 3 L's and then an S going down the side of the bucket, and that stands for lung, lymph,
Yeah.
and then liver and spleen.
Oh, okay.
And it's a bucket of organs because instead of laying out a whole bunch of, that's a liver, that's a lung, and blah, blah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a bucket of organs. Basically, a whole bunch of organs will get these granulomas that have the non-necrotizing giant cells and shaman bodies and asteroid things. All, that's what makes the granuloma. Those granulomas are going to appear everywhere because whatever is triggering the IL-2 and the other, all the inflammation is going on everywhere. So you're going to have those granulomas in these organs, but also other organs. Now, on the side of the couch, actually, like part of the couch, like right there. So where you, right there, on the arm of the couch, you have eyeballs. The couch is watching you. All right. So the couch is watching you. They're friendly eyeballs, not creepy eyeballs.
Okay.
And that's because the reason the eyes are their own thing is because they can cause sarcoidosis, can mess up a bunch of tissues, but it really can make you go blind and have a lot of issues with eyes. Okay, moving on. We've now talked about like some pathogenesis type stuff and how we don't know the cause. Now we're going to talk about signs and symptoms.
Do you have any skin lesions, flat lesions that are slightly reddened?
You said
Or
spleen and not
sub-
skin.
Oh,
say
skin
skin?
was supposed to be there too.
Yes. Okay.
A skin
All right.
Like
So,
the-
excuse me. Underneath the bucket, there is a
mat?
mat that is basically skin. So
Okay.
it's like, you know how you can have leather, not tanned leather. You know how some people have rugs made out of like
yellow leather?
zebra hides or whatever the heck. There's something underneath that is skin.
Yeah.
So it's a skinned.
Okay.
It's a mat.
Yeah.
And that has a big red bump on it. So
Okay.
you have the bucket.
L.
And then you have the skin mat that it's on, and then it has a big red bump right here.
Oh, okay.
And so that is the
Plaque.
That's
The
yeah.
focal erythematous plaque.
Yes.
Yeah.
The focal erythematous plaque, and I believe it also has erythema nodosa on occasion.
Yeah.
And so that
Flat
represents.
lesions. Yeah, that are
So.
right. Yeah, so it's flat. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So now, if I make a circle, it makes it look too raised. Flat lesions. All right. There's that. Now, moving on to the couch. There is someone laying down on the couch. Okay? And this is a guy. He's got, maybe short blonde hair or whatever. It doesn't matter what kind of hair he has. It's just so you can see the person. So make sure that it's a person that you can see. Okay, so there's his eyes, there's his mouth, there's his hair, and he's laying down, across the couch.
Yeah.
Now, there are going to be 3 things to remember in his mouth area and 1 thing in the chest area. So he coughs, right? That represents coughing.
Yeah.
And coming out of his mouth is an arm with a thumbs down. So he goes, and it just comes out.
Okay.
So this is dissing someone, right?
Yeah.
So this is dyspnea.
Oh, yeah.
So cough,
Oh,
dyspnea.
why didn't I come up with that? Yeah, dyspnea is a hard one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So you're dissing someone. Yeah. So dyspnea, and then next you have also a little red thing flying off and landing on his foot. Hemoptysis.
Okay, yeah.
So cough, dyspnea, hemoptysis. Those are the 3 from the mouth. Then there's 1 on the chest. It's just a vice around his chest that is tight, and so chest pain.
Okay.
Okay.
Where are you getting this from?
Sarcoidosis.
Where are you?
It's in there.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, moving forward. So visualize all that, and then moving forward, we have, we're going to move to the, we're moving past the couch. So we just did the couch. We're going to move past the couch to where the potted plant was in the corner, okay? So we're in the corner of the room now, and there's someone who is over the potted plant like this.
Huh.
So the potted plant would
in
be
the corner?
below. Yeah, so.
Okay.
So they're like this over the potted plant. Potted plant is below this, and their head looks like a thermometer bulb. It's like all red. So that's fever. So they're like a cartoony stick person. So their head is like just a red ball, and that's like fever, like and they're like this, talk, because they're super tired. They're fatigued.
Oh, okay.
So fever, fatigue, and then they are super skinny. They're like anorexic, and so it's anorexic and weight loss.
Okay.
And so there's 2 in the head, 2 in the body, and then there's 1 that's hovering over the plant. Plants like water, so this works out well. We have a little dark storm cloud just like over the plant. There's this little dark storm cloud that it has a moon in it, and it's like this mini little sky of just like, okay, great.
Yeah.
And it's raining, so night sweats.
Oh.
Okay, and it's watering the plant, so
Oh, that's good.
we want no plants were harmed in the making of this memory palace. All right. Now, moving to the next location, we are moving to right here. It's the wall next to the plant, but you're like previously you were looking into the corner like this. Now you're looking this way.
Okay.
Ignore the whiteboard.
Okay.
Okay, right there. Oh. Okay, well, we'll go with it. So, right there we have a girl dressed all in pink, and she has like a trident thing.
Okay.
And if you've ever watched Cells at Work, it's an anime that's about medical things, and it was really funny. Anyway, that's what eosinophil looks like in that. So this girl in a pink thing and holding up a trident represents eosinophils, and her trident is up because it's eosinophilia.
Is she this person? Is it the person?
That is the right anime. That isn't her because that one's in red. But
Right.
Anyway, eosinophilia. If you don't like just having a random person who represents eosinophils, you can have Eeyore.
What is
Eeyore for eosinophilia, and Eeyore can be holding up his.
Eeyore for eosinophils?
Yeah, and he can be holding up his foot, whatever you
I just
call
have
that.
a chapstick. Like the EOS chapsticks. You know what those are?
Yeah.
That's what I put for eosinophils.
See, and
And
we
it's
all
also
have
pink.
different things that we
Yeah.
draw from because I've never heard of that.
With the trident, I'll show you.
So, it's all good. Let's get through what we
Okay.
can.
Okay,
So, anyway, so you have Eeyore or eosinophils or chapstick. I don't care. Just pick one, though. Don't visualize all of them because then you start having over each other. and this is actually a good time to say really quickly, if any of the pictures talked about don't work for you, think about it for a sec to see if, oh wait, yeah, I do get that. If it doesn't, replace it. That's totally fine. We all have different things that we're used to, so just use the locations and then come up with a different picture. All right, and at this point you would pause and review what we've done so far. Right after I say eosinophilia, and then below Eeyore, or whoever the heck, you have a bunch of white cells that are all looking like deflated pillowish, I guess. And so you have leukopenia. So you have one high, eosinophils, and one low, leukopenia. Okay? Now you would pause and go back and review from the giant hand coming in to now. All right. Continuing on. Now, what other signs and symptoms? So we've done signs and symptoms from the couch till now. And so all of those have been signs and symptoms. Now we have one more sign and symptom. We're going to go to here where we see a desk in the corner. So we now turn our gaze a little bit further to the left. And there is a guy standing on the desk like this. And he's pointing and he looks extremely cocky and he's got like sunglasses and he's an ace. Okay? He looks like a pilot or a flying ace. Okay. And he's pointing up at something that he has accomplished very, very proudly. And so he represents elevated ACE enzymes, which are found in the lungs. So if you have lung damage, which this is having happen, because that's one of the major places, and you're going to have that in the blood. Oh, we took your blood, ACE enzymes are up. Makes sense. Yeah. But he's pointing up and into the corner of the top corner of the room, so like up there. And what you see up there is a giant tooth. And the tooth you're going to see whenever calcium comes up, because that's my representation of calcium. Okay? So the tooth, you can see is like wedged in the corner, so you can see two sides of it, and then the other two sides are against the two walls because it's in the corner. One side has a red circle, the other side has a yellow circle. It's up, so hyper. Red is going to be blood, yellow is urine. Hypercalcemia, hypercalciuria, calciuria. So lots of calcium in the blood, lots of calcium in the urine. All right, now, those are all the signs and symptoms. Zooming down onto the ACEs. You remember how his leg was up like this? All right. Well, his pants are rolled up partway, and so you can see part of his calf. Okay. Now, after you've done all that other stuff, go ahead and look at the calf, and there has been one part of the calf that is poked with a skin test. And that's called skin anergy when there's no response. So basically, you would inject a certain antigen, a certain substance in, and most people would have an inflammation response, and it would be a red spot. It's like the tuberculosis test, except this isn't tuberculosis. And so you inject a little bit in, and it should get red right there. If he's normal, he's not normal, and so for him, anergy means without response. So he has a little poke, and nothing got red. Right next to that, he has a little divot out of his skin, like a little ice cream scoop just took something out, and that's biopsy. So it's like, he's got, those are two tests for, diagnosing.
Okay.
Then you move on, and the final desk right here, right there, the final desk just has three things layered on it. It's kind of three. It's just the number 1, the number 2, the number 3, and they're floating. And the only thing that you need to remember there is that this is a progressive disease with 3 stages. So just go like 1, 2, 3. And we aren't expected to know, I think, all the details about the stages. But it is good to know that, in the last stage, hilar lymphadenopathy, which we talked about, how lymph builds up, lungs, lymph, liver, the lymph in the lungs, that goes away, and that's like, whoa, we're in stage 3. That's not good. We're getting ready for everything to be bad. All right, that's the end of sarcoidosis. Yay. The rest of them are much shorter. Sarcoidosis was the one that was longer. So now we look underneath that second desk, and there's a opening. All right, and we go down through the opening. It's like a trap door sort of thing where you, and then there's stairs going down, and at the bottom you see, well, not at the bottom. So you start going down the stairs, and you see this ghost. How many of you have played Pac-Man, or at least have seen Pac-Man? Awesome. All right. So Pac-Man ghost is going to represent.
It's totally Pac-Man. Yep.
and I can barely see this, so it's definitely not showing up on there. But Pac-Man Ghost. All right. Pac-Man Ghost represents the lung because he's roughly a lung shape, but everyone can remember Pac-Man Ghost rather than, I think I know what a lung looks like, maybe. So, Pac-Man Ghost, and he looks like his sheet is a little worse for wear. And that's because this is idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. And so those little cross hatchings are fibrosis. Because it's fibers being woven. Okay, so that's this next disease. Now, from the stairs, we can look to the left, and just on the side wall of the stairs, we can see a TV. And this TV is going to be where we explain to ourselves, really quickly, what idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is on a, trying to understand it level rather than memorize it level. And so we want to take the time to do that. I will do it really quick. This is me working in understanding as well as memory into the same thing. And someone actually comes and points to the TV. He's a samurai, and his name is Cyan. And that's from Final Fantasy VI, which none of you have played probably, but trust me, the samurai's name is Cyan, and he's holding a little pointer, and the pointer looks like, it's a little extendable pointer, and that looks like the number 1 a little bit, right? So when he points at things, we're going to start at, so there is a memory to get you started. Cyan stands for cyanosis, by the way, and I just couldn't keep him out of there. He wasn't supposed to be here, but cyanosis is a thing, so fine. Anyway, he goes ahead and he points at the TV, and the number 1 reminds you that we're going to see alveoli, and alveoli have type 1 and type 2 cells. The type 1 cells are the ones that they break, and that means that you get fluid going into the lung interstitium, which means lung edema. And then type 1 cells can't replicate. Type 2 cells can. So type 2 cells replace the type 1 cells, and type 2 cells make lung surfactant and gook. And now they make too much because you have too many type 2 cells. So now you have fluid in the lung, fluid in the alveoli, so edema, and fluid in the alveoli, which makes it hard to breathe. So, which leads to cyanosis. So that's what's on the TV, and that's a thing where you just think about, oh, I understand why this would happen. If you broke those, of course you'd get fluid going in those 2 ways. Moving on downstairs, we go back to traditional pictures. And now at the bottom of the stairs, there is 2 things. One is a pink circle. How many of you know who Kirby is?
Oh, me!
Yes!
Yes!
Okay. Kirby is down there, and Kirby doesn't say much in any of his games, but one of the things that he will say on occasion is, "Hi!"
Yeah.
So, especially in Smash Brothers, especially if you're taunting because you're winning. And so that stands for hyaline cartilage. Whenever you see Kirby going, "Hi!" it's hyaline cartilage.
Nice.
So hyaline membranes are formed around the alveoli.
Okay.
Okay? And next to Kirby is a mushroom, because mushrooms look like alveoli if you turn them upside down, right?
Wait, where are we?
We're at the bottom of the stairs, right there.
Is there something...
So
Is Kirby just floating?
Kirby is standing right after the bottom step.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And the Pac-Man ghost was right here, and then we looked to the left, and the TV was right here.
Yeah.
And then Kirby is right here, and then the mushroom is just to the left of Kirby.
Okay.
Okay? And it's just a little mushroom that's... So, mushroom.
Yeah.
And this mushrooms will always represent alveoli because mushrooms are something that we can easily think of. And they look like alveoli if you turn them upside down.
Yeah.
So, and this mushroom, however, has a very unique stalk. It is a speaker.
Oh. Cool.
All right. And so, and right here, this speaker runs on nuclear power. Okay?
Oh.
So this is a mono stereo, so like single sound. You know how you can have stereo and mono sound? Anyway, this is a single speaker, so it's mono, meaning one, and it's nuclear, so mononuclear.
Okay.
Mononuclear bodies are in the alveoli causing damage, and I'm pretty sure that just is referring to like monocytes and then macrophages, but I'm going off the Dusty Guides.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the mushroom again?
The mushroom is alveoli.
Okay. Okay.
Alveoli, which are being attacked by mononuclear cells.
Okay. What's the stereo thing? Nothing?
Mono sound. It's like
It's one
sound.
sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
So mono for mononuclear. Monotone. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you had two stereos, then if you had two speakers, then it wouldn't be mono anymore. It'd be
Right.
stereo sound. Meaning, yeah. Okay.
Wonderful.
Anyway, yeah, great. So now let's go ahead and we're still talking about idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. Turn to the left, and we're going to go into this little special. So you're going to walk a little bit, and then you're going to see a. Goodbye, mushroom. We hardly knew you. All right. So the stairs. We really need to get good markers next time.
Yeah.
The stairs ended right here. You had Kirby, you had the mushroom, and now we are going down this way because the stairs are like going up here, and so clearly we have a room going back over here. So we are going to walk down here, and there's going to be something here, and then there's actually a pool of, there's a river thing coming out right here. But first, right here, there's a stack of waffle-like fiber things. Remember the fiber on the Ghost where it was just cross-hatching? Well, you got a bunch of cross-hatching things that are big, laid up in the corner, like someone didn't clean up very well, and it's just a messy pool, you know? And so those mats represent, you're going to get a bunch of fibrosis.
Okay.
And then on top of that, we have something important.
Let's see. Is it perhaps a honeycomb?
Yes. Thank you. All right. So on top of that, you see shelves, and they're like honeycomb shelves.
Okay.
And so you got hexagons and everything, and you could stick things in there. There aren't anything in any of them,
You could
but
put something in there.
that makes it more complicated. Simple pictures, the better.
Yeah.
So honeycombs are right there. So you have fibrosis and honeycombing. Next, if you look. So you go ahead and look to the right, you see over in the other corner, there's that samurai dude again, and he's leaning down over this river. This river that's coming out of the wall, it's just like a little trough in the floor. Up here, it's lava. Okay? So there's lava coming out, and then the samurai dude is... he has a paintbrush, and he's painting the lava blue. And so then it becomes water. It's like magic. Now it's water after his paintbrush. So it's lava before it, blue after it. The red represents oxygenated blood. The blue represents low oxygen blood. So oxygen saturation is low, which causes cyanosis, which is why the samurai named Cyan is there again.
Okay. You lost me. So it's lava because why? And it's blue because why?
Because blood that has oxygen is shown as red. So
lava.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we turn it into low oxygen or blue blood.
Okay, so what makes that happen?
All of the idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis makes so that you can't exchange oxygen very well because you have fibrotic alveoli and the type 1 cells and edema, and type 2 are putting gunk into it. All those things lead to you can't do gas exchange. And therefore, the blood oxygen levels get low. And that means cyanosis. So cyan, the samurai, is changing it from red to blue. All right. Last thing for idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis is right here. That is the worst drawing. Okay. This is a beehive, and it is straddling the little river, and that beehive represents the number 5 because 5 hive, and this is something that you'll see whenever numbers come up. 1 rhymes with bun, 2 rhymes with shoe, 3 rhymes with tree, 4 rhymes with door, 5 rhymes with hive, 6 rhymes with sticks. You don't need to memorize all these now. This is just so. 7 rhymes with heaven, 8 rhymes with gate, 9 rhymes with tine is what I do, or line. Don't worry about that one. 9 doesn't come up very often, thankfully. 10 rhymes with hen. All right. Anyway, so 5, beehive. So the beehive will make you think of the number 5. And that means that 50%, 5, the median survival rate is 5 years. Median survival rate is 5 years. Okay? And clearly we would have reviewed. You should, just by the way, after every 2, pause and review. I'm not going to say it every time. Moving on. All right. Now we have a really fast one. We're moving on to number 3 area, which I'm going to show. So we just finished number 2. We're coming out of that place and going up to number 3, where it's like that little circle pedestal where you could have, like, you know, beach chairs and stuff, be next to the pool, be nice. All right, so hovering over that, I often like to have disease names hovering over the top of it, and that's why the ghost thing was at the top of the stairs. And I forgot to tell you, sarcoidosis had a hovering star with little balls on its tips above the entire room, but that's just the name. I guess that's important to try and remember. Anyway, hovering over this one is a shepherd, and the shepherd is representing good pasture syndrome, okay? And he's coughing, and he also, so he has red coming out like here and here, okay?
So hemoptysis and...
Hemoptysis and hematuria. And it's a really simple picture where it's just like, whoop, 2 things. So there's a shepherd and those 2 things. Below him, you see little Y-shaped sticks, antibodies, basically. So now we're looking down at the circle stone place, and this would be water up here, stone down here, and hang on, I drew that wrong. There. Water up here. And then this is the platform.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And so...
Yep.
Okay. So right here there is a depression where this has dropped, and so there's like, it's kind of like there's a rectangle that's just lower than the rest of the platform, and there's 2 of them, so there's a rectangle over here that's just lower than the rest of the platform, so it's like there's a step down, and then you can step back out of it, and it's like, what the heck?
Oh, okay.
That represents basement, because it's lower. So antibodies against the basement membranes
Okay.
of lung and kidney, and that's why coughing blood, peeing blood.
Okay.
Okay, that's it.
That's it for the whole thing?
Yeah.
Do we have any
The rest of it was pretty...
acute intraalveolar hemorrhages?
That's because antibodies attack it. I thought that was... And it makes you cough blood. I thought that was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it does. Necrotizing hemorrhagic interstitial. Yeah. Did you get anything for type 2? Because there's 2 of them. Is that where that came from?
I remember
Type 2 hypersensitivity.
when last you went over this, I think you went over it pretty fast.
Okay, cool.
It's not on the Alex's guide.
Okay, then yeah, let's keep going.
Okay, next. So, review that disease really fast. Coughs and pees blood. Good job. Kidney and lung are broken because type 2... Oh, and this is a type 2 hypersensitivity because there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they're directly against the tissue, which is what type 2 means. Okay, next. Next we're going to the next platform. It's kind of across the pool a little bit. And...
Hi, James.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I love that kid.
Right?
So funny.
All right, so moving from there, we have in the air above the other pedestal, just separate on his own little thing, because this is the name of a disease, we have a bronchosaurus, the ones with really long necks, the dinosaurs with really long necks. Yeah, and this is so...
That's literally
That's
it.
his tail.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. This is
So-
like a graham cracker anyone's had. You know the ones that look like animals?
Yeah, they're so good.
I know they are.
Fantastic.
They're so good.
All right, so it's bronchogenic carcinoma. And carcinoma, this is a big, I just see a big red sphere of like cancer. To me, just is like a big red ball. You can see it it's a bunch of cars crushed into a ball if you want it to be a carcinoma. Carcinoma.
Yeah.
So that can be cars, whichever works better in your head. Now, that's the name. Looking down, laying down on this platform, roughly right here, there is a person who has it's the same person we saw lying on the couch.
Oh.
And so, chest pain with device, and then he coughs, and he has a thumbs down coming out of his head, and then he also coughs up something that flies over hemoptysis.
Okay,
Wait, is the Bronchiosaurus on a platform above the man?
He's just sort of floating
Okay,
and he's separate in your mind. So it's like, first I see the Bronchosaurus and the cancer thing. That's its own group. It's very light, very easy. Then you move down here, because keeping them separate makes so that if you keep them far enough away from each other, then it's like a separate group, and the group's area is based on what's below, but it's its own thing, and that makes it much lighter in the head. As simplistic as that sounds, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
So keep it as a separate thing, and it also makes so that you can really quickly go through a mind palace and say, what are all the floaty bits? That floaty bit, that floaty bit, that floaty, and name all the diseases without going into details and see, where's the thing I need? Usually you know where it is anywhere, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this person lying here, and this person is the same one on the couch, so the same things, 3 from the mouth, 1 from the chest. There is also a all right, fine. So there was one more thing about him, is that he's also extremely low weight now. So he's also got weight loss.
Okay.
So apparently someone needs to be a doctor. All right. So that's all for there. Cough, dyspnea, hemoptysis, and then the chest vice, chest pain, and then weight loss. And so just notice those things in that order. 3 things, 1 thing, 1 thing. And moving down here, we see a miniature factory.
Oh.
Okay, and it's got tubes coming up out of it, and those tubes look a heck of a lot like cigarettes. Okay, so this factory is like the healthiest thing ever, and it's right next to the water, and you're like, well, crumbs, that water might be done polluted now. But the cigarettes, so these are causes. All right, cigarette smoke, factory particles, like if you work in a factory that has floating particles of whatever kind, you can often have issues with particles found in manufacturing factories. And then the last one is, well, what better thing for air pollution than a factory?
Yeah.
So those are the 3 things: cigarettes, particles, and just general air pollution. All right, moving away from the factory, we get to move to super happy fun times, hopefully with a marker that works, where now we look at the 4 kinds of cancer that are all considered bronchogenic carcinomas. Okay? So we have 2 that are on pedestals of equal height next to each other. Here, so there's one in front of the other. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to write them like, but they have to be, all right, so these 2 are paired, all right? And the reason you don't want them next to each, whatever, you can do whatever you want. So, the way that I quickly remember this one is male, and this one is female. And so there's going to be a male on top of this one. Hello. And then there's going to be a female on top of this one.
Hello. Oh, you made a little dress. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, or legs or whatever that is. Okay.
No, it's a dress. You're right.
Okay.
And so the reason both of these are paired together is they have the same probability, 25 to 45%. I just remember that higher means more probable. So they're both in that group. I sort of have the front one shorter, but I know that they're in that group. And they're the higher of the 2. We're going to have 2 more over here that are both lower.
Okay.
Anyway, so the guy is actually holding little particles Legos, actually. He's holding a bunch of different
That's
colors
so
of Legos.
funny. I have Legos in mine too.
Yes!
Okay.
Ah.
Sweet.
So he has lots of different shapes and colors of Legos, and so that means well differentiated.
Oh.
So this is a well differentiated cancer.
Okay.
And he is standing on, I should have said this first, he's standing on a squamous cell. And for me, a squamous cell looks like a squamous cell. It looks like a rectangle from the top, or from the side, it would look like that with a nucleus right there, and it's just a squamous cell. Okay? So he's standing on a squamous cell.
Yep.
And that's because this is squamous cell carcinoma. Yeah. Okay? All right, good. Now, this, and guys are more likely to get it. That's why there's a guy there. Sometimes it's so obvious I forget to say it.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to say really quick. Squamous cell carcinoma is more common in men, and it is well differentiated. That's what you get from that pillar.
Squamous cell is more common in men and is well differentiated. Gotcha.
It's
Bingo.
on small because they're both on tall pillars.
And they both of these are common 25 to 45% of cancer
Yes.
chance of getting these.
I think they're also called non-small.
Yeah, non-small.
Squamous cell.
Yep. And really quick, just should I not?
What was the thing with the guy on the couch with the hemoptysis and dyspnea and coughing and weight loss and chest stuff? Where is that? Like, is that part
That
of
was
this
back in
thing as
sarcoidosis.
Really?
Sarcoidosis
But we
on the
did that
couch.
after.
Well,
He
you
drew
see
the
him.
Dinosaur.
You mean this
Yeah.
guy? Yeah, he's just laying on the ground, and he is part of.
All four of these next types. Of,
Yes.
Okay.
All four cancers show the same way, and that's why they're all.
Oh, I see. Clinical course. Yep. Gotcha. Thank
Yeah.
you. Sorry.
No worries. Good question. So with, so guy pillar, squamous guy, well differentiated. Girl pillar, girls are more common, obviously, and this is the only one that has no smoking. All smoking causes all the other ones, and so this girl is anti-smoking, and so she has a little anti-smoking flyer,
Okay.
and she's holding it up, and it's got that the red circle with a line through it.
Yeah.
So it's no smoking. So,
Okay.
but she still got cancer. So,
Is her name adenocarcinoma?
on the pillar, you could make it that. So, where do wolves live? They live in a den. And so I have a picture of a little cave that looks sort of like this.
She lives in a cave. Okay.
All right, and that is what is right here on the pillar.
Okay.
And so it's adenocarcinoma.
Okay.
And whenever you see den, a wolf den, that's what I use for adeno everywhere, which is why I saved it for last, I guess. All right, so adenocarcinoma is more common in females and does not come from smoking.
Okay.
Okay? Next, we have two more pillars. These ones are shorter than the other two because... And so now you've hopefully blocked those two pillars off. That's why we're doing it two at a time, because otherwise it's too much in your head. Anyway, these are like 10 to 25%-ish. They're lower probabilities. Now, on top of this pillar, where we're going to start, you have little bumps, kind of like, how you can have frosting around the edge of a cake?
Yeah.
So these are little pebbles almost around the side of this pillar.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of see them. Like if you're looking down from the top, it would look like this.
Okay.
And if you're looking from the side, then it would look like they're a little bit raised. Okay? Those are cells. They are small cells. This is the small cell carcinoma.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so now you've named this one small cell, and just to ruin the surprise, the next one is going to be large cell. Okay? All right, small cell. Small cell has... Yeah, it's a carcinoma. Thank you. We already know that. All right. I had a floating ball of cancer right here because it's super malignant. Okay?
Okay.
So there's literally just like floating like an orb of power just floating above it is super red, evil-looking ball of cancer. And so it's super malignant is what that means. This is the one that's dangerous.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? And now above that, we have another ball that does not look evil at all. This ball...
Yeah, as well.
is like hanging from the ceiling like a chandelier. Okay, and so actually you can stop looking at this stuff. Yeah, so this one's hanging from the ceiling like a chandelier, and this thing is not a chain. The thing holding up this second ball is a nerve. It's like this yellow, waxy looking thing that comes down and grabs this silver ball. Okay? And this is going to be a neuroendocrinoma argentea. And the reason the ball is silver is because argent or something like that means silver. I don't know if that's something that you guys like or not, but
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why it's a silver ball, and this all represents a neuroendocrinoma, neuroendocrine argentea, and I'm sure I got that second argentea word wrong, but it's close to that. Argentaffen, thank you. And the argin, that comes from the Latin word for silver.
Yeah. So neuro, nerve, argin, silver. You have anything for endocrine, or do you just?
It's just wedged in between the two. So yeah, I don't have anything for it. By remembering the motor memory for the first bit, I get the second one, and then the silver gives me the second word.
Perfect.
So if you think of anything, let me know. Now, argentea starts with the letter A, and now we have two things that start with the letter A, ACTH, just floating, and ADH, just floating, so it's like AAA. So you're going to small cell carcinomas can secrete ACTH and ADH. And the way that I remember those is as soon as I say argentaffen starts with A. We got two things. I know there are two things there. And as soon as I say argentaffen, it's like, oh, argentaffen. We got AAA. Those are linked together as the three A things.
Okay, cool.
All right. Now, moving down to this pillar, there's actually two things to stick with this pillar, because all we got down there right now is small cell, like the little bumps. And those two things are, oh yeah, so going back to the cake thing, you often have decorations going up the side of a cake, right?
Yeah.
And then you'd have some, so you have one that goes above, and that is actually, it looks like wheat. Has oats, actually.
Oh, cool.
Oats up top. So these, so you have oats, and then there's another one, oats, and so you have oat, something else, and that represents oat cells,
Okay.
which are found in this. And the other ones are actually skis, okay? So, and these skis, I'm going to go ahead and draw them off of that so that it's clearer. So there's a ski, and they have little telephones attached to them. Okay? And it's like someone thought it'd be a good idea to screw telephones onto it so they could pick them up really easy, I guess.
Okay.
This is call, chat. You call and chat with someone. Ski. Call chatski cells. Call chatski. And it's call chitsky.
Okay.
But I did call chatsky because I needed something. So,
You're doing
and
great.
those are in between. So there's a call chatsky, there's a call chatsky. And so it's just like, what are the two things here? Small cell. What are the two things here? Malignant. And then what's the chandelier story up top? So it's kind of like you got two chunks. So
Got it.
I do want to go ahead and mention, when doing this particular pillar, I look at the bottom stuff first, and then I look up and change my view, which makes it kind of like moving to a new place. So don't have the silver chandelier and the ACTH and the ADH and the
ball, because it's malignant.
Yeah.
And like the.
So you have the pillar by itself, and then you look up, and it's like two balls. One of them just means malignant. That almost doesn't even count. And the stuff up there, much lighter in the head. So it's just looking down, that stuff. Looking up, that stuff.
What else is on the down stuff besides that it's small cell and the oat cells and the Tchaikovsky?
That's it.
That's it.
It's only, yeah, it's
only
really
three
light
things, but one of
when
them's
it's
the name.
by itself.
Yeah, okay.
So one of them's small cell, and then oat cells, and then Kolchatsky cells. Kolchitsky or whatever is what it actually is, but call and chat ski. And then you look up, and it's like malignant, and that malignant ball reminds me that there's another ball, because there's two balls.
Yeah.
And then it's neuro coming down from the ceiling, Endocrine, argentafin. Argentafin reminds me ACTH, ADH, and I also just have floating like little things right there. So I'm like, I know something goes there.
Yeah.
Good to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember the looking up and looking down viewpoint thing. Makes it a lot better. Now,
Thank you.
with this, we move to the next pillar, and we have large cell. And large cell, I like this one. So, we'll go ahead and... All right. And coming out from around... That's why they always draw cartoons with 4 fingers. All right. Coming out from around this pillar, there's just a giant hand, okay? And it's another giant cell, okay? And he is holding a glass marble that has a spindle on top of it that's balanced. It's like he wedged the glass marble and the spindle together and he's showing it to you.
Okay.
And it's like, this is pretty. So
Yeah.
he doesn't speak because this giant is mute. That would be
Yeah.
strange.
Which
All right.
yeah, that is weird. But anyway.
So, giant cells can be seen in large cell carcinoma,
Okay.
okay? And clear cell carcinomas can be, it's a clear marble. It's a clear glass marble.
Spindle cells? Oh,
And then
spindle cell. Okay.
Carcinoma.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to remember if these are specific cells that you can see or if they're subgroups of cancer that you would see in large cell type carcinomas.
Says they form these carcinomas.
Okay, so each of those are a different subtype of large cell carcinoma. Large cell carcinoma could be giant cell carcinoma, it could be clear cell carcinoma, or it could be spindle cell carcinoma.
Yeah.
So it's just a giant holding out his glass marble with a spindle wedged into it. And you guys know what spindles are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they put
Okay.
thread on.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
put thread on them and... Okay, cool.
What's the 5-year survival rate in 9% of patients thing? What's that? Where did that come in?
The 5-year median survival rate for
Yeah.
everybody, that was back with...
With the couch guy?
That was... the only time that I talked about a survival rate was with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Okay,
That's
this one has a 5-year survival rate too.
Oh, okay.
In 9% of patients?
Okay, I didn't get that. I did get that diagnostics are done by X-ray.
We're not done with large cell carcinoma though. I don't think.
I did finish large cell. There is one more thing for diagnosis to tell all these apart,
Okay.
and that is, let's forget that. Okay, there's an X-ray standing. So going back to, we had the dinosaur. Underneath the dinosaur is the guy laying down on the ground, or maybe you stuck a couch there because I said it was the same guy, and maybe you like having couches because you feel for him. And then there's a factory, and then you have the 4 pillars up and to the right. So factory, 4 pillars right here. Now, going up this way, because this is water over here, right?
Right.
Going up this way, the water stops roughly there and roughly there. Going up this way towards the wall of the pool, so like here. The wall of the pool room, I should say. There's just this easel with an X-ray on it. And it's like, okay, someone left their X-rays there. That's how you diagnose it. Now, I would also stick a beehive next to it because of what Ava has said, which I did not get. But now we have an easel and a beehive. 5-year median survival rate. And actually, it's not a 5-year median survival rate. It's a 9%.
So 5 years survival rate in 9% of patients.
Yes.
So
that means that
only 9% of the people survive.
Actually, I think this is the one that is backwards to the way it sounds. 9%. Remember, this is the one that was explained in class, and everyone was like, "Oh, I thought this one was the other way."
No.
And so 9% die in 5 years, but if you
Oh,
make it,
okay.
Wait, 9%. Say it one more time.
5 years survival rate in 9% of patients.
5 years survival rate.
9% of patients survive past 5 years. That's what it makes it sound like. But
That is what it makes it sound like. But I remember that they explained this specific kind of phrase meaning. Anyway, double check it. So
Okay.
there's a 5 for the 5 years. Figure out what it means for you.
Okay.
All right. So obviously, hopefully you review these things on the ground by themselves. Then you'd review 2 pillars. Then you'd review, you'd notice the 2 pillars, small cell, large cell. And then you'd do the small cell, and then you'd do the large cell, and then you'd do those. All right. Hopefully this is all helping and making sense. Moving on. Goodbye, Bronchosaurus.
Is that from something? Or
The
no?
hello?
Yeah.
Hi! That's Kirby.
That was Kirby. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
what's
my
that?
gosh, my younger brother would be so happy right now.
Ah.
Oh my gosh, yes! You can do that really well.
Thank you.
Did you
That's a
play
challenge.
Smash Brothers?
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. We need to do more of this. Okay. All right, moving to our last pair of diseases, which are lighter than most of them.
What
So,
is that from?
Where is
What is that from?
I don't remember. I've done it forever. All right, so we're moving to the last pedestal, and that has a Mayan temple. How many of you have seen Emperor's New Groove? Yes.
Oh yes.
In Mesoamerican history. All right.
Yes.
Mesothelioma. Malignant mesothelioma. Okay? And so we have the Emperor's New Groove, like, temple thing looking right there. All right?
I'm sorry.
Or a Mesoamerican. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Okay. So this is what a Mesoamerican building would look like that was not actually like Emperor's New Groove-ish, but whatever. If you don't have the Emperor's New Groove thing, then you do a descending steps sort of.
Like a tiered cake.
Yeah, like a tiered cake, exactly.
With squares.
Is this the last disease? Or is there one more?
There's
2 more.
there's this one and then asbestos, which
Oh,
causes this.
okay,
guy.
okay.
We'll get
And-
to it as best as we can.
Oh my
No.
god.
So good.
All right, so that's kind of what a. See how it's tiered. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's just mesothelioma. This is floating over. All right, this is floating over the pedestal
Okay.
because it's a disease name,
Okay.
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
all the other ones. Okay, so this is its own thing up there, and it has some goo floating down the side that is pink. Okay, I stick one thing with the disease name often, and that's it. I keep it very light.
Yeah.
But the pink goo is to remind me that, remember the TV where we went over, just like think about
Pathogenesis.
how the disease works. I'm trying to include a few of those to see how they work. This is the other place that I included one. And I'm going to look at malignant mesothelioma, and this is the part where I see if I can understand what is actually going on here. So I will just explain it to you at this point, which is what you would do at this point. And the pink ooze is to give me a cue to start off. Okay, so in the lung, something has caused so that in the alveoli on the walls, it starts to get fibrotic, and eventually some of that turns to cancer, and that's the malignant mesothelioma. And so that patch in the alveoli spreads, and it also doesn't just spread through the alveoli, it also goes to the pleura. And so the pleura around the lungs, the pleural membrane,
Yeah.
that actually gets cancerous too. And both of those have a patch that just gets bigger of cancer, and it fills the pleural space with this pink, gray, cancerous material because all the cells are replicating into that space.
Yeah.
And so basically you've poked something, you've basically killed cells there long enough so they replicate and turn into cancer, and then they grow into all this stuff. Now, this can become either, so the pink stuff filling it can look, it's both malignant mesothelioma, but it could look like a sarcofibroma, or a some kind of an adenoid cancer, whatever that word is. So, but both of them are malignant mesothelioma. So what's happening? You damage it, it goes into pleural space, it looks pink and gray. Cool? All right. Moving down below then, now that we've explained the story of pathogenesis, which then takes care of a lot of the things that are needed to be known about the disease, we have the detail bits. And this is the one where it's kind of fun. So I'm going to draw pillar, water is over here, And then right here, we have just erupting out of the ground a thumbs down. There is no person, there is no coughing, there is just a thumb, there's just a hand sticking out of the ground with a thumbs down.
Okay.
Okay? And there is a vise around it, around the arm. Okay? So, dyspnea and chest pain. Great.
Okay.
Okay, and so those are the two things that you would want to know. And then around this apparently not normal hand that we want to keep contained, we have a nice green, circly things, I guess. They're lymph nodes, okay?
Yeah, okay.
There are 4 of them, and that just is like all the lymph nodes in the surrounding areas, this can travel to.
Okay, yeah.
Okay? And below the lymph nodes, so the lymph nodes are paired with an extremely poorly drawn liver, my favorite. All right, liver. That's a liver. All right.
Beautiful.
So we have one pair, and then we have the next pair. So we have dyspnea and chest pain. That's pair done. Now you look at the other pair, lymph nodes and liver, where it can metastasize to.
Okay.
That's how I like to chunk it in micro chunks, 2 and 2.
Beautiful.
All right, that's done with malignant mesothelioma. Now we move to asbestos. And asbestos is super fast.
Yay.
So,
It's, where is it? It doesn't look that, well, it could be. It could be. It's like half a page in the Dusty Guides.
well, we already explained that in malignant mesothelioma, if something gets stuck in the cells and then makes the cells so they keep dying and inflaming and coming back, then it makes a patch.
Yeah.
And eventually cancer comes from that patch.
Yeah.
Well, this is an example of what can happen. So, asbestos is a particle that you cannot break down. Period. The end. Okay? And so you inhale it, and it gets stuck into your lung, and then your lung tries to get rid of it with inflammation to kill it, and that doesn't work. And so the cells rebuild, inflame again, the cells rebuild, inflame again, eventually malignant mesothelioma. So basically we're just doing the first part. We're talking more in detail about how it was made fibrotic, and eventually is probably going to lead to cancer. Just like H. pylori in the stomach will lead to cancer because it makes turnover. All right, once you know that concept, which we talked about in the previous one, the rest of asbestos is really simple. There are 2 types of particles. So this is in the water. There's a bowl floating in the water. We call things in water amphibious, yes? Yeah. And we call bowls.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an amphibolic particle.
Whoa, that's some major creativity there.
And
thank you.
there is just
We've been listening for an hour and 20 minutes just for that. Okay.
So you have a little stick coming up in the center because the amphibolic ones are straight, and they're more dangerous.
Okay.
Then you have a snake going around the outside of the bowl, just slithering around the outside, and then there's his little happy snake face. There's his tongue. All right. So that's the snake going around, and that is because serpentine is the other kind. It's basically like a spring. It's a corkscrew. However, it's
Okay. So that's what's going around.
Imagine, really quickly, concept. Imagine you have a spring. This is not a picture. This is understanding. Imagine you have a spring in one hand and a nail, a big nail in the other one. If you shove it into something, which one's going to puncture?
That one.
The nail. The spring is going to be uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily going to puncture. Amphibolic are way worse than the serpentine.
Okay.
Okay? That's the point. Once you understand that, it's part of seeing the snake.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this bowl clearly is being towed towards the malignant mesothelioma, and oh my gosh, we get to see the creepy thing that is doing it. There's a fist that erupts from the water like this. Poof. And it has a thumbs down.
This is like your favorite thing.
And so that is dyspnea. And the reason it erupts from the water like this is because it actually punched up a ball of water. And so the water goes flying into the air.
Oh.
And that is productive cough. What do you call that? It's not bloody. It's just normal sputum. Yeah. It's a productive cough.
Yeah.
That's probably all it is. Okay. So it's a productive cough. So dyspnea and a productive cough.
Okay.
Because the water ball going up, it's not blood.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's not red.
It's clear.
And this time it's water, and so it's just, and, you know, it's like, super water attack! Boom! And it goes. Anyway. Geek. Alright, so, yeah, and...
Where is that? Oh, here it is. I found it. Yes. Good job.
Now, how is it going to get up on the pedestal where its other friend is with the dyspnea? There is, and we're actually looking from this direction right now. We're like near the bowl, and we're looking from the side right here. Anyway, now if you look in to where the dyspnea hand is going towards. It's going towards the pedestal thing. So we're looking sort of south, I guess, if you want to think that way. Now, how does it get out of the water? There has to be some kind of stairway. It's honeycomb shaped. It's like those shelves again. So you have honeycombing, and that's how this is going to get out of the water. So the ladder is shaped like a bunch of honeycombs like this.
Do you have it going to both the bronchiogenic carcinoma and the mesotheliomas?
And so there's more honeycombs, and that's what you use to get out. It does do both. I just sort of remember this is only one of the cancers it can become, and I didn't bother remembering. Does it have bronchogenic? Oh, I guess we already did do bronchogenic, so I just say that you can see it going to either place. Cool. I didn't notice that was a disease that I'd already done. I was just so done that I was like, goes to malignant mesothelioma, I'm done.
Yeah.
So that's everything. Hopefully this is helpful.
What about the iron containing something?
I didn't get that.
Aerogenous bodies.
So the
I remember that
bodies-
when last you went over asbestos, it was pretty fast.
Okay.
But what is it?
Asbestos bodies are iron containing a proteinaceous material
They're
Okay.
golden brown fusiform rods with iron.
with a translucent center.
Aerogenous bodies.
Okay, so make this stick right here made of iron.
Okay, yeah.
And
every time you see it, yeah. Yep.
even
Sweet.
be a little body made of iron.
Yeah.
Cool.
Asbestos body.
Is it my turn?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
So hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to go ahead and stop this so that if you only wanted to watch half, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
This will take
So
forever to
how
upload.
Fast I can.
And you guys rock.